Good morning and welcome to Inside Running on Tab Radio Racing and Sports.
Magnificio races to the lead, getting through Waterman's Bay. Magnificio narrowly from Waterman's Bay.
Our team will evaluate each race, interview leading contenders and update Tab Touch markets.
But now Delicacy, here she comes. Delicacy under the 59 went to Neverland and reeled up Dark Musket. It's Delicacy against the inside. Sublime, brilliant, greatness in the cup.
We trust you will enjoy this edition of Inside Running. Now, over to the team for their look at today's meeting.
Very good morning, everyone. Welcome along to Inside Running for this Saturday morning. We've got 9 races commencing at 12:09 today from Ascot, and just awaiting for the track conditions to come into play. The Schweppes WATC Derby is the feature on the program. No Darren McCauley here today, but we've got Digby Beacham, Michael Heaton and Scotty Embry to steer the ship and hopefully find some winners for the program. Good morning to you, Digby.
Good morning, Matt. Good morning, listeners. Thank you for your company this morning on Inside Running. A massive day of racing out there at Ascot today, headlined by the Schweppes WATC Derby at Group 2 level, and William Pike shooting for a dozen Derby victories, which is quite remarkable. Michael Heaton, a very good morning to you.
Good morning, Diggers. How many would it be for Grant and Alana?
It's a very good question.
He's probably not far off.
The bulk of them. I think he rode one for Michael Grant, might have been Cat's Fun, and then also for David Bridioak as well, Scott. But as I say, good morning to you. It's a daunting record, isn't it?
Awesome John
last year.
Just
for John
last
O'Shea.
year.
Yep.
So it is a daunting record, and he'll go around on the favourite today, you would think, unless there's a flood of support for something else. $4.20 the current call on Buckets Ridge, $5 a lot of good men, and $4.80 the filly Own the Queen, the dominant filly of that entire series.
Your initial reaction when Zip Away came out this week?
Flat.
Michael?
It's the same. I thought he was going to be super, super hard to beat. You just have to look at his rating compared to the rest of the field to know what a class edge he appeared to have, at least on paper. And now I think it's a really open edition. I think there's probably 6 horses that could easily win it without surprising.
Do you concur with that, Scott? Do you feel it's a really wide open affair?
Potentially even wider than that. I think I had 8 winning chances when I tried to narrow it down. And as we've been talking in the last 35 seconds, we've gone from $4.20 now into $3.80 Buckets Ridge. So he is going to jump your favourite off the back of that dominant Mel Vista display. The shades went on and Pike went on and we saw a different horse.
9 wins in the WATC Derby for Team Williams, shooting for their 10th.
Staggering. It really is staggering, and they do look to have a very strong hand today. Now, Scott, you were speaking off air just before we came on air about the weather. There was a fair bit of it in the northern suburbs last night, but none of that precipitation hit Ascot.
Nothing of it reached Ascot is the report, so we'll get our normal playing surface here with the rail at the True, and I would expect here today that there's a little bit of a sea breeze for later on in the program, but as has become sort of customary in WA racing in general, the starting point needs to be on speed types, and then we'll work from there as we start to see them actually make some ground.
Okay, let's hook into these changes because we need to get through this wonderful day's racing out there at Ascot. We are on a good 4 surface. The rail is in the true position there. There has been 4 mils applied to the track in the last 24 hours, 52 mils in the last week. So that is what we're looking at out there at Ascot today. And the opening event is the Key Clean Plate for the 2-year-olds at 9 minutes after midday over the 1,000 metres. And you can scratch numbers 6 Something Royal and 9 Aubrey Star. So 6 and 9 come out of the opener. Race 2, the Tab Touch West Speed Platinum Handicap at 12.44. Remove number 8, Make Your Point. Make Your Point is a scratching in race 2. Race 3, a small but select field, face the starter in the Marjorie Charleston Classic at 1.22. All 6 acceptors are running. No changes. Race 3. Race 4, the Mrs. Mac Handicap over the 2,400 metre. Number 4, Beach Pad has come out, has gained a start in the Derby, and we'll get to that in a second. So Beach Pad has come out of that race. We'll race later in the day. Race 5, the Pepsi Max Handicap at 2.39 is clear of scratchings. Race 6, the Singapore Pools Trophy 2024 at 3.15. Again, clear of scratchings. Now, race 7, the feature, the $400,000 Group 2 Schweppes WATC Derby over the 2,400 metres. Number 1, Zip Away, is out. Beach Pad has gained a start, and I would think Scott She's Perfection and also Man's or Magic will come out. A rider to be named on Beach Pad.
That rider will be Stevie Parnham.
Stephen Parnham off Zip Away onto Beach Pad in the feature. Race 8, the Strange Love Handicap at 425 will go without 6 Blazing Tycoon and 12 Sports Talk. And the final event on the day at 5 o'clock is the Coolridge Handicap, and it is clear of scratching. So hopefully you got all those alterations. We'll get some sponsors' messages, Matt, and then we'll come back and look at races 1 to 3. Welcome back to Inside Running. It is 12 minutes after 8 o'clock. In fact, it is now 13 minutes after 8 o'clock. You're with Digby Beacham, Scott Embry and Michael Heaton on this big day out there at Ascot today. It is WATC Derby Day, and before we get to that though, Matt, we need to look at the prices for race 1.
Absolutely. Race number 1, it's over the 1,000 metres. We've got scratchings of 6 and 9. We have 1 Battle Commander at $3, 2 Show the Way $3, 3 Spices Right at $7.50, 4 Tactics 15, 5 Gold Flakes 6.50, 7 Apache Adios at 34 with the 8 in Arduet, and the 10 Flower of Gold 15, 11 Mighty Hosanna 13, and the 12 is My Petra at 31.
Scott Embry, Show the Way.
In the first, the clear form reference being Battle Commander, Spice is Right, Show the Way, and then obviously the alternate point of view and the alternate form is through Gold Flakes off the 7 days out of a gym crack. I'll start with the Battle Commander race. 2 kilos in favour of Show the Way, a better barrier draw, and second up here. I thought that Show the Way could turn the tables on Battle Commander. And then I was impressed, even though the SPs are always going to play in the back of your mind, but I thought both runs of Gold Flakes were quite good. That debut performance, 5 1/4 off them at 100 to 1. The winner, Siren Assault, now the Gym Crack winner. The runner-up, Bustling, now the Perth Stakes winner and the all-in favourite for the Karrakatta. And then last week, she's only beaten 3.5 by Siren Assault.
She was slow to step, but she mustered quickly, didn't she?
She found a bit of traffic at some stages as well.
Yeah. You would think that's a decent enough form reference for this race, is it not?
I would think so. You know, back to 1,000 metres, maybe a minor query. If she gets caught up 3 back the fence, if she doesn't step again, sure, query. But I thought she was in the mix here. However, I am going to go with the stablemate, Show the Way. I thought that his first up effort was really solid. I loved his trial behind Schmoove Mover. I think today from that draw, Stevie Parnham can just settle a pair closer to Battle Commander. So that coupled with the 2 kilo weight pool, I thought he could turn the tables. 2 from 1, 5 Gold Flakes, 3 Spices Right. Obviously gets weight on both Battle Commander and Show the Way. And from that inside draw, no doubt Matty Derrick will be nice and aggressive early. 2-1-5-3.
Do you see anything here troubling those who have raced from the unraced brigade, Michael?
I thought the most recent trial of Mighty Hosanna was pretty good, but probably can't map her from out there. She looks a real work in progress. Her first few trials were okay, then the blinkers went on, and I thought the most recent was, was quite impressive, but from the draw, the way this race looks likely to be run, I'm pretty much the same numbers there as Scott, just a different bottom 2. I was 2, 1, 3 and 5. Show the Way, I think, will be in the right position. Nice weight swing. Second up, good draw. I think can be turning the tables on Battle Commander from Spice is Right and Gold Flakes in for 4th.
Who leads here, Scott?
Battle Commander, I thought.
You think, even though he's back to the 1,000?
Correct.
Okay.
If you were Paul Jordan, would you back up next week into the Karrakatta? I mean, you know, prize money-wise, you're in there, no worries.
Yeah, I would think so.
I think Shell Bell tried to do that, was it last year? And I think ran last.
It's interesting that Paul's gone this way because the horse is guaranteed to start.
I think reading between the lines there, aim this prep might be the sires. But even so, if you race this week, then you go 3 weeks into the sires, or do you back up next week and go a fortnight to the sires?
What's today? Start number 9.
Interesting to see which way they go, but he's going to pick up, you would think, a pretty nice check here.
Yep.
But of the the rest of the brigade, there's probably not a huge amount of speed that we've seen at the trials. Maybe one of those Corinne Maynard debutantes could get to the breeze, argue it, but I thought Battle Commander should be able to find the rail here.
Yeah, okay. Matt, not much more to add from my end. The same 4 numbers as the boys, just a little bit of a different order, but 2, 5, 1 and 3 for me. Show the way from 5, Gold Flakes on the quick spin, 1, Battle Commander, and 3, Spice is right.
Okay, 2, 5, 1, 3 for Diggs, 2, 1, 3, 5 for Michael Heaton, and 2, 1, 5, 3 for Scotty Embry, race number 1 on the program. On to the second. This is the Tab Touch West Speed Platinum Handicap, 1,200 metres for this race, 8 out. Number 1, DTA at $5.50. Number 2, Bred to Flirt, $16. 3 Tenacious Reward, $5.54. In Busters Free, 23 at number 5, Kripalemko at $6. The 6 Norwich at 7 El Patron, 21.9. Collective 16, 10 Diamond Rocks, $9. The 11 Lucky's Way, $8.50 with 12 Enchanting Sound. The 13 Dodira at 51 and the 14 Kelvin at 41.
Now, Michael, these West Speed Platinum handicap races aren't easy to decipher, and this is no exception.
This is really open. I think the market has it virtually spot on with a $5 favourite or $5.50 favourite, I think DT was, and it does look really, really tricky. I've actually gone the way of Tenacious Reward, who's only coming out of a Class 1, but geez, I think it was a serious win. If he didn't get clear, he would have been a good thing licked. He was absolutely bolting and running. He only needed a slight bit of room, and he reeled off the fastest last furlong to win with 60 kilos. Drops a couple of kilos now, and he can probably blend into that 3 wide line. But look, Kripalemko was good. What do you do with him? He won as a maiden in this grade last start. DT is the class runner, but first up usually takes a run. Diamond Rocks is capable, but on the fresh side. Norwich has been around the mark. Enchanting Sound was good first up.
Yeah.
You can make a case for a few of these, Scott.
Certainly can. And I mean, even Tenacious Reward with that form reference, as much as I was hoping it would be Shilling Lane on Wednesday, the victory of that second horse from that race in Dialing was really impressive.
Yep.
I thought Tenacious Reward had to be one of the chances, but I kept coming back to looking at the fancies, or who I perceive to be the fancies. A lot of them get off the speed over the 1,200. DT probably goes back. Tenacious Reward, considering how well he went last start, you would think goes back. Enchanting Sound goes back. Not that I sort of have a lot of love for her, but the market does. Lucky's Way gets back. So I was actually going to play the speed here. I tipped into him in last start, and I didn't think he was too bad in Norwich.
I thought he was very good, all things considered. It was just a horror watch, if you will, with Norwich.
There's nothing more awkward than being that horse on the outside that gets flushed out 3 deep when the leader gets crossed and then they pop off the fence.
And Cash was positive, wasn't he?
Very.
Really positive on Ultimate Command.
So Holly ended up getting dictated to and ended up basically 3 deep from 3 for the majority of that race. Back out to 1,200, and I thought straight to the front here. The last time this horse was at 1,200, he finished a length off Bleecker Street, who's run really well since, including winning that Abrolhos Plate last week at Geraldton. I thought you could do worse than backing Norwich each way in a wide open race. I'll go 6 Norwich, 1 DT. You talk about horses in West Speed Platinums. Some of the best things is horses' first time into West Speed Platinum, which is both DT and Tenacious Reward. Ran into some very good types last preparation. 3 Tenacious Reward and 10 Diamond Rocks. 6, 1, 3 and 10.
You think Norwich leads Kelvin?
I thought that he would early. He's drawn in gate inside of him, but even if he's sitting second, I'm fine with that.
Yep.
Kelvin on the quick spin. What do we do with DT, Michael? Because you go back to that run behind Baby Paris in the Jungle Dawn, box seated, looked like she was going to play a part once Baby Paris accelerated around the corner and did not. But no trial, big weight, high draw, but is the class here.
Yeah, absolutely. You look at behind Baby Paris that day in that Jungle Dawn, I think it was. Second was Rusty Dreams. Third, Balancy. Fourth, Duchess of Gossip. It's all brilliant form for a race of this nature. Then after that, ran fourth, beaten a length in a 66 plus. After that, beaten 2 lengths in a graduation last start before a spell. So it's all form that jumps off the page for West Speed Platinum. But in saying that, I think she will be behind Tenacious Reward in the run. First up, her record suggests she usually takes a run. So 3, 5, 1 and 10. I'll go the way of Tenacious Reward. I thought was a really impressive win. Drops weight, can play a part at each way odds from Kripalemko, who I thought, whilst only a maiden winning in this grade last start, won pretty well. Was given a lovely ride by Jason Whiting, and I thought was the map horse parking just behind the speed. DT in for third, well placed. And I'll throw in Diamond Rocks, who I thought ridden off the speed the last 2 starts since joining Mitchell Pateman's yard has been pretty good. 3, 5, 1 and 10.
I'm with you, Michael, with Tenacious Reward here. The interesting thing for mine is stays at the 1200. We know that this fellow got out further than this last campaign, but that was a very, very good win down there at Pinjarra. You're right, had he seen daylight earlier, that he wins by a greater margin, and certainly Dialing was very, very good on Wednesday. So 3 on top from 1 DT. We've touched on her. She represents the Class 6 Norwich, who's going to ride the speed, and 12 Enchanting Sound. Different map today for Enchanting Sound, but that effort the other day was very, very sound. 3, 1, 6 and 12.
3, 1, 6, 12 for Digby in race number 2. Michael with 3, 5, 1 and 10. Scotty with 6, 1, 3 and 10 as we move on to the third event. This is the Marjorie Charlson Classic. It's over the 1,200 metres. Pay 1-2, just the 6 starters. Baby Paris 205. Real Danger 330. Strathmore Rose 23. 4 Rear Admiral at 345. Megami 19 and 6 Mrs. Spree at 26.
The class runner here is Baby Paris. Notwithstanding Real Danger is a very capable mare herself, Scott.
Wins, doesn't she? Baby Paris?
I hope so. I've got her on top. I take it you have.
I certainly do. I mean, this time last year she won the Joey at weight for age, and this is a set weights and penalties where she carries 58.5. The money for Rear Admiral in some ways surprises me, in some ways doesn't. You actually, looking back, and why I'm not probably as bullish on Baby Paris as what I thought I would be, is you go back and watch this exact race last year, and How's the Serenity looked like a set weights and penalties special and got gunned down on the line by Gunmetal Grey.
That's right.
So they can bob up here. But for me, Baby Paris is a Metro 100 raider. If you turn this into a handicap, Baby Paris carries 58.5, Rear Admiral carries 46.5. So she's not at all well weighted versus Baby Paris.
Who leads here? Is Strathmore Rose likely to be ridden for speed?
I think,
or is she just not going as well?
Isn't she?
She hasn't stepped at her last 3. Now, if they ride her like they did in that trial where she broke them open, she becomes, this will sound harsh, she becomes pest value.
Fly in the ointment.
She's definitely a fly in the ointment. But if she doesn't step Strathmore Rose, then Baby Paris leads, and I think is very hard to beat.
How did you view it, Michael?
Exactly as that. Baby Paris finding the front, blinkers first time. She's a Metro 100, as Scott said, and the average rating of her opposition is 76. She's just thrown in at the weights here under these conditions. Form lines jump off the page, and I loved that recent trial. I thought it was really sharp with,
Fast, wasn't it?
Ridden for speed, blinkers first time, and she just flew and beat a pretty nice one that day as well at the trial. So I think, all things being well, she should jump, she can lead, but she's a versatile mare as well. So if something did cross her, it's not the end of the world. I think she can track them up and still be really hard to beat. Real Danger's going well enough, up to 1,200 metres, looks suitable, but has been up a long time. Rear Admiral's been up, I think, even longer. And then all of a sudden you go to maybe a progressive horse like Mrs. Spree, who's terribly in at the weights, is rated, I think, nearly 40 points less than Baby Paris and only 3.5 kilos off her, but does look a really smart mare on the way up. So I threw her in for 4th, but I think all things being well, if Baby Paris wasn't able to win this, I would be surprised.
Your numbers?
Best of the day for me, 1, 2, 4 and 6. I thought Baby Paris was a special from Real Danger, Rear Admiral and the progressive Mrs. Spree.
Rinse and repeat for myself. Scott, you?
Same again, across the board. I thought she was very hard to beat, and at the 205 that she's holding up, I'm surprised that she's not odds on, I'll be honest. Baby Paris from Real Danger, Rear Admiral and Mrs. Spree.
Okay, 1, 2, 4, 6 for all 3 of us this morning, Matt. We will not need to recap those numbers because we've just done that. We'll get some sponsors' messages and then we'll come back and have a look at race 4. Welcome back to Inside Running. You're with Digby Beacham, Scott Embry and Michael Heaton. It is 8:29 on this Saturday morning as we look towards race 4, Matt, which is the Mrs. Max Handicap over the 2,400 metres.
Okay, race number 4 on the card, and we've got the scratching of the 4. 1 Let's Deal, $5.52. Flower in the Wind at $2.15. Number 3, Arnray, 31. 5, Blue Card, 13. 6, God's Garden, 15. 7, Luke's Piero at $11. The 8, Savorsky, 7.59. She's Perfection, $5. And 10, Strawberry Mist at 61.
Does Flower in the Wind win again, Scott?
Tick for me. I think last week I'm not quite sure why she was so easy in betting, but I'm sure there were people out there just questioning maybe the ability to rise to 60, because she did rise 5.5 kilos run to run, but she got the job done again. She's in a rich vein of form. She's backed up 3 times in her life and run placings at 2 of those 3, so she's yet to win, but at least she's been running well off the quick backup. Drops a couple of kilos, maps to get the same run again, and Stevie Parnham's riding her with great confidence.
The one thing we have seen with Flower in the Wind at her past 2 runs, Michael, is a mare who's wanting to race. Like, she wants to be up for the fight, and you've seen her over the final stages of those 2 races pull away from her opponents.
How tough she been.
Yeah.
That win 2 starts ago, she was 3 wide, no cover, and they went pretty solid in that 2,100 metre race, and she still just pulled away to win well. And last start, I think Stevie summed it up well in his post-race. She was just travelling so well, you could see him just holding on to her until about the furlong before he let her go, and she just put them away in a few strides. It was a pretty convincing win. She now drops 2 kilos, as Scott said, maps to get a lovely run, and I think all things being equal, she should be really, really hard to beat. I think Let's Steele's the class runner here, raced in a Perth Cup, obviously, and since then has been going around in stronger races than what Flower in the Wind has, but I wasn't too sure where he gets, because he does tend to mix up his racing pattern. Do you think he goes back from the draw today, considering there is an Iron Ray and a blue card in the race?
I would think so.
Yep. And from there, Swarovski drops a stack in weight. Senior goes on off 3 days. She's Perfection was emergency for the Derby and wasn't horrible in the WA Oaks. I think it's probably a bit of a raffle for the rest of the field, but on paper at least, it looks Flower in the Wind's race.
Do you feel it's a skinny affair, Scott?
I do. Anyone that went the early shopping and got early bird gets the worm, took 460 cop deductions, that's still 370 after deductions. So you've got 370 about a mare that's 220 now. So she has been well supported, even with the deductions coming through Beach Pad. But I thought, all things being equal, she was awfully hard to beat. I'm in agreement with Michael. I thought that Let's Deal was probably the danger coming out of an Albany Cup. 60.5 kilos won't worry him. He's run behind Birdie Eagle with that weight 4 starts back was a ripper. 8 Swarovski, backs up off 3, drops 5.5 kilos, gets the senior rider back on. I'm expecting, and I'm already seeing, money to come his way. And I'll put God's Garden in for 4th. Go back 5 starts ago in that Class 1, beat Luke's Piero by a half, meets him 2 kilos better for having beaten him. Goes around a bigger price here today, and I thought it was a much improved effort last start. I'll risk the filly. She's Perfection. I know she got held up in the last 250 in the Oaks, but I just don't know whether, if the gap had been there, whether she was going to be able to take it.
You're a non-believer.
I'm a non-believer.
Okay.
2, 1, 8 and 6.
2, 1, 8 and 6 for Scott. Michael?
Carbon copy for me, 2, 1, 8 and 6. And just with Swarovski backing up off the quick spin there, you can probably take a line through Hieronymus Bosch, who he beat with 60.5 kilos going back a couple of starts ago. Then Hieronymus Bosch ran 4th to Flower in the Wind last week, and Swarovski carries 1.5 kilos than what Hieronymus Bosch did against Flower in the Wind. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him really feature prominently in this race. 2, 1, 8 and 6.
2, 1, 9, 8 for myself. Flower in the Wind. I love the way that she's attacked the line at a past couple of runs. The 2,400 metres shouldn't represent any issue at all. The way that she is going, she drops 2 kilos, she's on the quick spin, and she's a mare in form. So 2 on top from 1, Let's Deal. It was a good effort the other day. 9, She's Perfection. I'm not as harsh on her as you are, Scott. I'm thinking that she's capable of running top 3 in this, and clearly Swarovski on the ultra quick spin in for 4th. 2, 1, 9 and 8 for myself, Matt.
Okay, so the numbers for Diggs is 2, 1, 9, 8. Michael and Scotty with 2, 1, 8 and 6 as we move on to the next race, the 5th, the Pepsi Max Handicap, 1,400 metres. No scratchings, 1 influencing at $4.80, 2 Sapphire Street, $7, 3 Miss Rockjoy at $20, 4 Stylish Lord, $5, 5 Cool Memory at $9, 6 Bondi Plunge at $8, 7 Centre Bond at $14, the 8 New Music $10, 9 On Patrol $5, 10 Solar System $19, and 11 State of Fury at $51.
This is a good race, Michael.
Nice and competitive,
yep.
Nice and open as well. It's good speed, engaged. I do think it's open and there are a few chances, but one thing that had really surprised me over the past couple of days was the market. It has done a bit of a flip now, but Stylish Lord had been favourite the past 24 hours, and I just couldn't quite get my head around it because he meets influencing on the exact same weight terms as 2 starts ago when he sat outside him and was beaten 3 lengths. The map looks identical today. I know he's won impressively since, but I just couldn't quite work out how Stylish Lord was favourite, seeing he has 3 lengths to make up at the same weights.
Do we expect, Scott, that Influencing and Stylish Lord set the speed here in this race?
I thought the difference was potentially solar system.
Okay.
They go with
Blinkers back on.
They go with the shades back on today, and he didn't look quite as comfortable back in the field the other day. I would imagine that they'd try at least to kick him out.
And Influencing would land outside leader then, and where would that put Stylish Lord?
Well, either working around him to try and find the breeze or trying to tuck him behind.
Yep.
So either way I looked at it, I thought that Tash Faithful had a sort of a barrier draw advantage here in how she wanted to ride Influencing, and saw it very similar. I don't see a reason why Influencing can't win again. He's won 4 in a line. I know that last start he in a lot of ways pinched it. The first 800 was 12 lengths slower than average, so he got it really cheap and then kicked hard into the corner.
Great ride.
Great ride. But prior to that, when he beat Fly with Caution, he actually rolled really quickly at Belmont Park. So he's versatile and he's a winner. 1 Influencing, and you're probably going to get each way about everything in this field. 4 Stylish Lord, he dropped back in grade last start, and he just showed the difference between Saturday horses and Wednesday horses. He destroyed them. 9 in On Patrol, the punters showed their hand first up. They launched him in that race behind Snow Prince, and he never got a crack at any stage. And 2 Sapphire Street, month between runs, back to her own age group, back to 1400, but always going to settle rearwards. 1, 4, 9 and 2.
Do you make a case, or can you make a case for Sapphire Street, Scott's 4th selection here, Michael?
Yeah, have her in for 3rd. She just continues to go really well from back in the field, doesn't she? I think back to 1400 metres is a tick for her as well after being tested at a mile, but I thought On Patrol was the danger here to Influencing. I'll put Influencing on top, only goes up half a kilo, same track, great distance, and I think can lead. From On Patrol, just luckless at his return. He was held up, flew late. He gets... haven't met, but he carries 6.5 kilos less than Influencing here, and I think he's better suited up to 1400 metres and drawn off the fence. Sapphire Street in for 3rd, but will probably settle behind On Patrol, and Stylish Lord next best. 1, 9, 2 and 4.
1, 9, 2 and 4 for Michael. 1, 4, 9 and 2 for Scott. I'm with Sapphire Street. I just thought maybe the 16 back to the 14. Yes, she does rise 4 kilos, but you go back 3 starts ago, she was very, very good behind Pachula. We get to see Pachula in a quokka next Saturday, and I thought she was actually okay over probably at this stage of her career an unsuitable mile last up. That was when running 4th behind Not Secret. So she'll map rearward, yes, but if they do go along up front and there's a bit of pressure, I think she can blouse them late. So 2 each way, Sapphire Street. From 1 Influencing, represents your speed, as does 4 Stylish Lord and 9 On Patrol. Second up today, should be fitter, having gone to the races off only a 400-metre jump out. 2, 1, 4 and 9, Matt.
2, 1, 4, 9 for Digby. Michael with 1, 9, 2, 4. Scotty with 1, 4, 9 and 2. We move on to race number 6. This is the Singapore Pools Trophy 2024 handicap, and this is over the 1,400 metres. We've got 1 Dictator 71, number 2 Ice Pick Nick 343 in this one always gets me. Diggs, help me. Destinée, thank you. And that one's at 550, above the peg 950. XL Train at 11, the Spruker 16 with 7, Alay, and the 8 is Gift of the Heart at 14, 9 Ollie's Choice 380, 10 Strike Now 26 and 11 Zephyra at 15.
What do we do here, Scott?
Well, I mean, a lot of people, and potentially myself included, are almost had enough of Ollie's Choice. Mm-hmm. He continues to run really, really well, but he's now finding ways to get beat. He's either missing the kick, or he's finding traffic, or he's getting caught deep. He gets Willie Pike on today, which means he's going to stay pretty short in the market.
Yeah.
But he's drawn 10 of 11. So I'm happy enough just to push him down the order a little bit here, which left me with a fairly obvious top 2 in Ice Pick Nick and Destinée.
Yep.
Ice Pick Nick gets out to 1,400 metres for the first time since he's arrived in WA. He's been there a couple of times on the east, and he hasn't been too bad. He's got form around Laced Up Heels and Saloon Bar. Laced Up Heels goes to a Joey, Saloon Bar goes to a Quokka. From earlier on in the program, you see Rear Admiral. She goes to a Marjorie Charleston. And he's beaten, a short head into 4th last start. I would have been probably keener on Ice Pick Nick had Gift of the Heart not been in the race, because he's very quick and probably pours the pressure on. But Brad Parnham's got the option of handing up if they so elect to. So I went 2 Ice Pick Nick ahead of 3 Destinée, 50% winning strike rate, maps to get a lovely run, improves second up. drops 1.5 kilos as well. I thought there was lots to like about Desané. 9, Ollie's Choice, going well enough to win, but he's struggling to break through. And 8, Gift of the Heart, first up off a 2-month freshen, 54.5 kilos, and rarely runs a bad race from up on the speed. 2, 3, 9 and 8.
Same quartet for me, different order. 3, 2, 9 and 8. I thought Desané was a really good each-way play here. I thought it was a race in 3 in terms of winning chances. Same 3 as Scott there. Desané, Ice Pick Nick and Ollie's Choice. But with the pressure that Ice Pick Nick is likely to receive from Gift of the Heart, Desané probably 1 out 2 back, maybe 1 out 3 back at worst. Is going to be a couple of pairs in front of Ollie's Choice. And off that return first up, I know he was beaten, but he was in a slowly run race. He was held up. He had to pick up and sprint, but found the line brilliantly. Drops 1.5 kilos. Second up, map horse of the race. I thought this was a really nice each-way play for a horse that has won 5 from 10. So Baby Paris was my best. Desané is my best each-way play from Ice Pick Nick. Ollie's Choice, been flying all preparation. Let's see if Pikey can get him over the line. And Gift of the Heart on the fresh side, next best. 3, 2, 9 and 8.
2, 3, 7 and 4 for me. Ice Pick Nick. I think he's going to ride the speed and awfully hard to beat. Has the right form lines for a race like this. 3, Desané. Terrific first up performance. Looked like he was going to get there when running second behind Ascot. He's going to strip fitter. It's a good ride for Michael Poy before he starts his suspension. 7, Allay. I like this horse. Michael Lane's done a great job with him. Comes out of that fast run trial behind Comfort Me. And 4, Above the Peg. I think now the 1,400 metres is right up his alley. 2, 3, 7 and 4.
2, 3, 7, 4 for Digby. 3, 2, 9 and 8 there for Michael, and 2, 3, 9 and 8 for Scotty after race number 6 on the program. We'll take a short break here on Inside Running. We'll come back with the last 3 races on the program, with race number 7 being the Schweppes WATC Derby of Group 2 level. That's coming up after this break.
Very nice choice of song, Matthew Young. A very good morning to you and to everyone tuned in to Inside Running. It is 8:44 and the temperature outside 18.7 degrees. We are going to see a mostly sunny Ascot track today, and this is the feature. The Group 2 Schweppes WATC Derby over 2,400 metres. No zip away here, Matt. It's a very, very interesting affair.
Indeed it is, and the market is to a lot of good men at 5.50, 3 Lord Vampy at 11, 4 Autumn Rebel 31, Buckets Ridge at 3.60. Number 6, Alaskan 13.7 in good order at 17.8. Royal Tornado 41.9. YME 23.10. Grand Reserve 31. 11 Simply 23. 12 Knock One Back 91. 13 Brocking Society at $19. 14 Own the Queen 4.60. 15 in Star Rating at 34. 16 Flash of Dallas 14 and 17 Beach Pad at 81.
Matt, thank you. Scott, paint the picture here before we do a runner-by-runner look.
In terms of speed, is that what we're painting?
The overview of this race.
Oh, well, the overview for me is that I won't be going into this race watching one single horse. I think you're just going to have to keep your eye on the field. I could see any number of these winning. As much as I'm happily enough in the corner of Buckets Ridge from a tipping perspective, if he reproduces that run in the Mel Vista from what looks a pretty identical map for him, 3 deep cover working into it, there's no doubt he'll be hard to hold out. But there's a lot of these that probably won't get a lot of airtime that I could see bobbing up. I'm sure there's a lot that'll jump off Lord Vampy after his run in the Mel Vista, but I could see him bouncing back. There'll be a lot of people that probably won't have eyes for Autumn Rebel, but I could see from 3 back the fence him bursting through late with the bars coming off. Yeah, there's a lot of different ways to look at this.
Okay, Michael, we are going to go through runner by runner. You've got the first go here. A lot of good men. Give us a quick summation of his chances.
My on-top selection, I thought the fact that he settled in the 2,200 metre Mel Vista under the new rider, Jared Noski, was a big, big tick, drawn a perfect barrier just to bury him and put him to sleep here, and He ran the fastest last 400 of the entire meeting last start. I thought it was a terrific run. He gets 1.5 kilos on Buckets Ridge, $5.50. I'll put him on top.
Okay, Lord Vampy, Scott.
Brilliant in the JC Roberts. A little bit disappointing in the Mel Vista, but it has been a pretty short, sharp prep for him, so no surprise to see him bounce back.
Autumn Rebel, Barrier 1, Michael.
Run out of chances for mine. He's clearly had a couple of setbacks, but the bar plates do come off. I thought whilst he got a long way back last start, just others are going better at this stage of his prep.
Okay, the Mel Vista winner, Buckets Ridge, Scott, you said there had been money for him. Has he shortened again since we spoke earlier?
He has now 360. Expected he gets an almost identical run here today. 3-deep cover, working into it. And I'm listening to Willie Pike in his post-race last start. I think he'll ride him with even more confidence here.
Okay, Alaskan.
Well, this is probably the map horse in the race. I think all the other chances are going to be in the second half of the field. Alaskan can probably be 1-1, 1-2. He was huge in the JC Roberts 3 wide, no cover, running second, and then got buffeted last start running fourth. He's a big chance.
Okay, in good order, high draw for Brad Parnham.
Thought he was almost the run of the race in the Roberts outside the beat and outside the money horses. Thought he was excellent again in the Mel Vista and probably would have tipped him had he drawn a barrier. He's going to need a very good steer.
Can you make a case for Royal Tornado, Michael?
No, not for me to get a long way back again last start, but I think others are going much better.
Okay, why me, Scott?
Super effort last start. Almost got skittled at the top of the home straight, picked himself up and charged home. Just thinking that maybe it's coming too quickly for him.
Is Grand Reserve your leader here, Michael?
Yeah, so brings an alternate form clearly. Broke maiden status, leading all of from the breeze 3 starts ago. Cardiac arrhythmia 2 starts ago, then bounced back to lead all the way. Over 2,200 last start. Could be in front for a fair way.
How do you assess the prospects of Simply here, Scott?
Happy to risk those horses that are raced around against the older brigade, your Grand Reserves, your Simplies, your Knock One Backs.
Would you fall off your chair if Knock One Back won this race?
Yes, I think stepping up, 600 metres now, and I thought this could be the 3 wide, no cover horse leading up that 3-deep line. Bit of an awkward map.
Okay, Rocking Society's not hopeless here, Scott, is he?
No, quaddie inclusion for me. I think he was a big winner of the lesser speed in this. The fact that our Rocky Bay doesn't have that point-to-point acceleration, that's what got him undone in the Mel Vista. I thought his last 100 was really good.
Own the Queen. She has been outstanding this campaign.
Brilliant filly. Clearly has the wood on all of them, but I'm unsure what she's been beating. I think that the fillies are a lot inferior to what we've seen from the boys. Own the Queen, not talking about her, but so much the beaten opposition and the run-home sectionals have been incredibly slow. This is a big step up for her today, I think.
Okay, another one of the fillies here, Scott, is Star Rating.
Had a great preparation, but Own the Queen's beaten her fair and square at her last 3 races.
Okay, Flash of Dallas, who was very good in the Oaks.
She was. You could make a case she probably should have just about won. She was held up and flashed late to run half a length third, and she's a maiden. That's one of the queries I have over the Oaks form and that filly's form, but the last start effort was sensational.
Okay, Stephen Parnham was always going to have a ride in the Derby. It just wasn't meant to be with a Zipway. He now rides Beach Pad, Scott.
Goes from the favourite to the roughie.
Yes, he does. Okay, Michael, numbers for the Schweppes WATC Derby.
2, 7, 5 and 14. I wanted to tip in good order. I think he's had a perfect Derby prep, and I just loved his run last start, but he's probably going to have to settle near last. So I'll go a lot of good men for all the reasons listed before. I think perfect barrier, put him to sleep, bury him, and if he can unleash the turn of foot we saw last start, he's in this up to his eyeballs from in good order. Loser out of the barrier draw clearly, but I think there'll be a 3 wide line for him to blend into. Buckets Ridge in for third. Jumped out of the ground with the addition of Blinkers and Pike last start. The race does map out quite similarly for him, but he meets rivals on worse weight terms. And Own the Queen, I think, has been beating up on perhaps moderate opposition, but she's a really, really talented girl. 2, 7, 5 and 14.
2, 7, 5 and 14 for Michael. Scott, are you with the boys or the girls?
I'm with the boys, and I'm with the winner of the Mel Vista. Pike to get the same run and complete his dozen derbies. 5 Buckets Ridge. Congratulations and good luck to all the Ridges that are in the ownership there, and also a bit of a shout out to Billy Wilcock, who I think's just had a tough week, just trying to get himself through to Derby Day. Hopefully the Buckets Ridge puts a smile on his face. 5 Buckets Ridge, 2 A Lot of Good Men, 6 Alaskan, 14 Own the Queen.
5, 2, 6 and 14 for Scott. 2, 7, 5 and 14 for Michael, and I'll make it Buckets Ridge for me as well, Matt. I think he's awfully hard to beat. I was with him 2 starts ago and nothing went right on that occasion. William took over. You got a big quote and the blinkers went on. He was a different horse and he looks like he's going to get a very similar run today. So 5 on top, Buckets Ridge From 14, Own the Queen. I know that there's a knock on whether the fillies are as good as the boys. She couldn't have done any more. She's got a lethal turn of foot, so that's going to carry her a long way. 6, Alaskan gets a gun run for a gun jockey, and 2, a lot of good men. 5, 14, 6 and 2 in the Derby.
5, 14, 6 and 2 for Digby, 2, 7, 5, 14 for Michael, and 5, 2, 6, 14 for Scotty in the Derby for 2024. On to race number 8. This is the Strange Love Handicap over the 1,400 metres, and 6 and 12 come out. 1, Galaxy Affair, 41. Number 2 here for checks at 13, 3, Boab Boy, 21, 4, Fast Flicker at 395, recalled at 14, 7, Hemlock Stone, 460, 8, Keep Attacking at 15, 9, Playing Rio, 11, 10, Fly With Caution, 460, 11, Ocean Zara, 23 and 13, Princess in Red at $8.
Scott, this is the Luckless Stakes. Who have we got on top?
Well, exactly right. That's the tough part about assessing that XL Train race, is that Fast Flicker, no luck. Hemlock Stone, no luck. Princess in Red, no luck. Playing Rio, no luck. And it probably goes further than that, but horses that didn't come to this event. In the end, I was big team Fast Flicker last start, and I can't see why I wouldn't go again.
Yep.
Because she never got a crack at them at any stage, and she looked to be bolting.
And the market was all over her last start, Michael. Now things went awry. We know that. No fault of Paul Harvey, but gee, the money was strong.
And stays at the same track, grade, distance, and I thought could be 3 wide cover here, probably out of trouble. And for that reason, the win 2 starts ago was just off the charts, albeit Westby Platinum, but the way that she put them away was super impressive. So I thought she could bounce back here as well. 4, 7, 10 and 5 for me. Fast Flicker looks like a horse ready to go through the grades. I think she can be kept out of trouble this time and bounce back. From a Hemlock Stone, who probably should have won that race, was just bolting in behind them, got an inch of clear air and was really strong through the line. Fly With Caution brings alternate form, looks the map horse, should get a lovely run. Probably a slight query on the form lines, but does drop 2 kilos and looks progressive. And Recalled, I'll throw in, clearly had a setback since that cracking first up run. The bar plates go on about 9 weeks between runs, but I think he always goes around over the odds and is worth including. 4, 7, 10 and 5.
What do you expect the market to do here as we get closer to jump time? Do you think it will gravitate towards Fast Flicker again, Scott?
I do. I think because she was luckless last start, anybody that was on her last start wants to be on again. And the other element is Tony Triscari has the best profit on turnover in the country for the last 12 months.
There you go.
Phenomenal, the way that his stable's been going. 4, Fast Flicker to get some luck and get the job done. 9, Playing Rio, as luckless as any of them last start behind XL Train. Gets a much better barrier today and can take up a nice spot. 7, Hemlock Stone, returned in really good order. 10, Fly With Caution, a step up in grade. I'm not convinced on the form around beating a horse like China Spirit, who was 3 deep the trip. But on the bright side, he gets an identical run today from a nice barrier draw. 4, 9, 7 and 10.
4, 9, 8 and 13 for me. I am with Fast Flicker again, and I will make her, like I did a fortnight ago, Matt, the best of the day. So 4 on top from 9, Playing Rio, 8, Keep Attacking, and 13, Princess in Red.
Okay, so 4 across the board here. 4, 9, 8, 13 for Diggs, 4, 7, 10, 5 for Michael, and 4, 9, 7, 10 for Scotty in race number 8. On to the final event, race number 9. This is the Coolridge Handicap, 1,200 metres, no scratchings. 1 Triple J, $4.80. 2 Kelvinate at 21. 3 Magna Lee, 12. 4 Carolee Rocks at $6. Number 5 Kick a Gold Sun, 26. 5 Madam Kisses, or 6 Madam Kisses, I should say, at $20. 7 Ultimate Command, 14. 8 Simple Logic, 18. 9 Beccalotti at $8. 10 Son of the Boss, 460. 11 Think of God, $5. 12 Highland Flare, 61. And 13 Land of Fire, 126.
Michael, who leads this affair?
Son of the Boss, I thought. Pretty much probably harsh, but a lead or lose type of horse, I think. And Ultimate Command, who is has been ridden for speed, going very well. There is good speed behind them, though. Simple Logic, Magna Lee, Kelvinator will be firing across from the wide draw. So I think they'll be going pretty hard here, and I do think there'll be a 3 wide line as well for some horses to be able to blend into.
How did you view it, Scott?
I thought here today that it was a really good chance for the speed horses to sort of control it between themselves. Now, I'm agreeing with Michael. I think Son of the Boss will look to cross, but the horse that's drawn inside of him, Ultimate Command, I didn't think she was hopeless here at juicy double figures. I know that she comes out of a West Speed Platinum, and it's easy to say in hindsight, but I didn't like her in that race, one, at the price, but two, on the fact that she'd backed up 3 times and never fired a shot.
Yeah.
So she's just not a backup mare. She gets back 1,200. They elect to go with the senior rather than claiming. I just thought that she was a bit of value in this. So I went 7 Ultimate Command from 10 Son of the Boss, 1-2 round the corner, and I thought could pinch this. 1 Triple J, big notification coming through. The bar plates are off today, which is always going to be a tick. And 9 in Becca Lotti, who has met Triple J previously, gets a massive weight pull on Triple J, and as long as Jared can overcome what looks a really tricky barrier, I think the mare's got more than enough ability to win at this level. 7, 10, 1 and 9, but each way for me in the last. Ultimate Command.
Okay, Michael?
I've actually gone with Becca Lotti. I thought it was this horse out to double figures was a really attractive price. Has trimmed it a little bit now, but I really like the horse. Didn't have much luck in some runs last preparation, showed more than enough ability, trialled up really well. Interestingly, the blinkers come off, and I think the horse has had them on since start number 1, so that's a bit of a watch, but trialled well without them on, and meets a horse like Triple J, 4 kilos better for being beaten less than 2 lengths by him last preparation when she was 3 wide, no cover the trip. So I think off that effort alone, 3 wide line here to blend into, worth an each way play. From Son of the Boss, looks a work in progress, but he grows the leg when he finds the rail, and he ticked that 1,200, or all but ticked that 1,200 metre box last start. I think if he finds the front, he's the horse to beat. Triple J, I thought, was a much better run than read on paper first up. Fastest last furlong of the day. Run off his feet early. Now gets to 1,200 metres. And Think of God, I think, looks really progressive, but just the draw might be a killer here. 9, 10, 1 and 11.
9, 10, 1 and 11. Think of God, I agree with you. I think she's a very nice horse, and she was given a gun ride by Holly Watson at her most recent win. 4 for me, Carolee Rocks.
Bar plates.
Bar plates are concerned, no doubt. The fact that she stays at 12 as opposed to 14 is interesting, but I'm going against my trend here and selecting a horse with bar plates, but I just like her. I think she's a very, very good mare. I think she's good enough to win this race, so I'll take the stable on trust. So 4 on top from 11. Think of God maps poorly, but I just think she's got some upside as well. 10, Son of the Boss, your likely leader, and 1, Triple J. It would be a big win under 61 from that gate, but that first up run over, I think, an unsuitable 1,000 metres for a horse like him was very, very sound. 4, 11, 10 and 1.
4, 11, 10 and a 1 for Digby. We've also got 9, 10, 1, 11 for Michael and 7, 10, 1, 9 for Scotty. We need to recap the best bets.
Michael Heaton.
Best of the day for me, race 3, number 1, Baby Paris, and an each way play on race 6, number 3, Desiree.
Scott Embry, your best on a big day out there at headquarters.
I agree. Baby Paris, hard to beat. I also think Flower in the Wind, hard to beat and show the way. I'm actually going to make the best on today's program, Steve Parnham in the Jockeys Challenge.
Oh, okay. Price?
Very rare Jockey Challenge punter.
Not normally a Jockey Challenge, man.
250. Stevie's book, Show the Way, Norwich, Flower in the Wind, Stylish Lord, XL Train, Fast Flicker.
Beach pad.
What price would have he been a Sipaway was in?
Where would have been Willie Pike odds.
Okay.
I think I've tipped Stevie on 4 today, so happy to back him in the Jockey Challenge.
They had a fat day last week, the Parnhams. They had a fat day. Okay, my best. I am in race 8, Matt. My best there today was number 4, Fast Flicker. Now, Scott, Kalgoorlie also today. Do you have a best for our listeners there?
I thought Treasured Queen would win again, but there was one that got me at the price. Race 6, number 1, Talk It Up.
Talk It Up. Okay.
To return a winner for Mr. Peter Fernie.
Okay, has a strong hand, as always does Peter. Scott, Michael, thank you. You're out there today, STC.
And tomorrow at Narrogin for Cup Day.
Okay, good luck today. Good punting. Michael, thank you.
No worries, I'll be at the footy tomorrow. Go the Birds.
Good on the Eagles.
I'll have to drive Lockie out to Narrogin because he doesn't know where it is. It's outside the Taylor's 50-kilometre radius.
It's a long way from Trinity, isn't it? Thank you very much, Matt. Good morning to you, and thank you.